with the fulfillment of that promise? And if you stand for it, would you seek relationships with the business community to fund that pool?
We are with Gabriel to go first.
Well, my position has been clear. I've spoken a number of times on the commission on this issue. I'm a strong proponent of building the pool. I think you build the pool, it benefits the entire community. It can serve as a meeting place for all types of people to come and enjoy the benefits of that pool. I have spoken and said that as we're structuring this deal, right now as it's structured, I believe 25% of the time is going to be dedicated to residents of the city. I'm not negotiating the deal, but if I was negotiating the deal, I would try to engage the business community some more and some other partners and see if we could get up to 50% maybe and then strike the deal. I think where the agreement is right now, it's good. I think if you added some things, it could be better. But overall, I think we should build the pool. And I think the way it's structured right now, it's revenue neutral, and we can protect the taxpayer and we can enhance the community.
Armando on the pool.
It's a long promise, 45 years, and the city has never kept it. I'm a strong believer that when a city makes a commitment, they either do it or they don't. In reference to the pool here, the lapse of time has been so long, the indecision has been so great, that I'm fearful that they're going to make the wrong decision down the road. And my fear is that it's going to cost the taxpayer. Would I like a pool? Yes, I would. Would I push for the pool? Probably I would. If and only if it would not cost the taxpayer of South Miami 1 cent. 1 cent. Because if it does cost them, it's not the fault of the citizens. It's the fault of this commission that has not acted on time and diligently. Anything that enhances the city, I'm always going to be for. But I'm not, again, and I'll repeat this, I've said it 100 times, communities are like people. You have wants and you have needs. We have to take care of the needs first, then we can play around with the wants.
But if for the pool, would you seek business relationships to help fund or offset costs to the community and taxpayers?
Absolutely. Why not? Why not? It's a community project. Businesses are part of this community. They're residents as well.
Gabriel, do you want to respond to that particular question? And then Bob, we'll have a minute on the pool.
No, I agree with Armando. I want business contributions.
All right, Bob.
Yeah, my mom had 14 national titles, would have gone to the Olympics had it not been for World War II. Chlorine is in my blood. I grew up in municipal swimming pools. Do I think businesses are going to fund a swimming pool? What's in it for them? You got to ask them. But when the former city manager wanted to have a 10-lane racing pool, water polo depth, when South Miami High School hadn't had a water polo team in 35 years, I passed out a flyer citywide, had the citizens, email the commissioners, and that was, helpful in putting the brakes on a boondoggle of a $750,000 a year pool. Pools can be designed much cheaper. I look at Bally's, and Bally's has a 3-lane, 3.5-foot depth on their pool. That's your cheapest pool to staff, insure, and maintain. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question will come from Shawn Cruz with South Miami Hometown, Inc.
There's been a lot of talk here tonight on development, and if you take a look at the future land use map, just the way it is designed right now, there's a lot of room for growth. I know none of you guys are currently sitting on the commission. However, every time property owners are trying to come to the city, they end up speaking with staff. So I guess my question is, what is the commission's role versus the staff's role, as a commissioner as you see it? Because what happens currently is, we need to encourage, at least the city manager, the staff, when they look at budgets, they want to encourage development, smart development. However, their hands are tied. So I guess that's my question to you guys. As a commissioner, how do you encourage smart growth.
We'll start with Armando. 1 minute each.
It's funny when everyone uses the word development and smart growth as different things.
Sure.
They're not.
No.
When a child develops, he develops, and he's growing smart. And a city is the same way. As a commissioner, and as a commission as a whole, we hire the professionals to take care of the day-to-day business. That's what we do. It's a checks and balances system. We hire the professionals, but when there's an issue that has to affect the community, where there's an issue where an investor, a developer, a business person, a homeowner wants to do something, there's a process where they can come to the commission. I think the commission has to be available to review those proceedings, to be there and to listen to these people and recommend what the city is available to do or not to do. I mean, it's not a matter of overdeveloping. The hometown plan is there. We just don't use it. We don't apply it. We don't respect it. Why did we have it?
Bob?
Yeah, you said future land use map. I'd like to talk about the 1997 past, land use map, when my colleague to the right was on the commission, and mysteriously land use categories for Lee Park, University Gardens, and Red Road apartments went from 2 stories to 4 stories. And I congratulate Commissioner Beasley on working tirelessly to lower that back down to 2 stories so that residents there are not in fear of having their homes bulldozed to put in 4-story condos. Smart growth, Victor Dover had the right plans for the bank. The bank didn't like all the architectural niceties that he put in, and a drab build it out to the sidewalk, then straight up 4-story plan was approved by the bank. Small town character includes those nice looking buildings like Dover wanted initially to build for the bank. Thank you very much.
We're going to go to Gabriel, and then I'm going to allow each candidate an additional minute on this question, and Armando specifically, he referred to you. But first, Gabriel.
I heard 2 questions, so let me try to answer the first one first. The issue of the role of the commission, more than 100 years ago in Galveston, Texas, the Galveston model was established, which is how we govern our city. And basically, we have 5 commissioners, and each commissioner and the mayor, our job is to oversee the staff that we hire, the city manager and others, to ensure that they're serving the residents of this community. If I'm elected commissioner, I'm going to have an open door policy to every resident, to every owner, to every person who wants to talk to me, whether you voted for me or didn't vote for me, you like me, you don't like me, and have dialogue. I think dialogue is important, and there's no reason why you can't talk to your commissioner. And so I think it's important that the commission does that, and every commissioner does that. Now, on the issue of development, there needs to be always a balancing. You need to balance as best you can, and I think if you do that, you can have smart growth, which doesn't take away from the hometown character feel of the city.
Okay, we're going to do another round on growth and development and any specific projects that you want to mention to Armando.
Well, I just wanted to respond to my colleague to the left. That back then when that decision was made, it was made based on information from the professionals and because of the CRA. It was not feasible. It was not even economically feasible to have those funds brought into the CRA if there were going to be 2 stories. That's why they were changed to 4 stories. Then they changed them back, Commissioner Beasley, which I think, in all honesty, with all due respect to him, did a great disservice to his own community. He killed the projects that would have provided more funding and more money and would have been revenue efficient for that community.
Bob, an additional minute on this subject.
Yeah, look at the square deal where 32 working class black families were moved out of a project with the help of the administration under a former mayor who will be up here talking tonight. When you talk about building 4 stories where there are 2-story affordable rentals, you're talking about displacing people. The only time that you would do a development that would not displace people is when you do it piecemeal. Certain people wait while one building is being built. When it's done, they move back into it. And then you keep on leapfrogging it. Otherwise, when you bulldoze all of University Gardens, you're going to displace a heck of a lot of people. Thank you.
Thank you. And Gabriel, an additional minute.
Both my colleagues here, they've been here many years and have played a role in the city commission. I think one of my strengths is I represent the future. I represent moving the commission forward. A lot of things happen in the past, and we have to be aware of those things, but we also got to move forward, and we certainly don't want to displace people, that's for sure. At the same time, though, we do need to look at opportunities to promote smart growth.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to a new question from James Dundorf.
Question is on the size of city government. Neighbors Association has fought to keep taxes low by keeping the city government small, limited in its role, and also limited in the number of employees. During the past 30, 40 years, the population of the city has stayed about the same, but the number of employees has gone up significantly. How do you determine what the right size is for city government in terms of employees, budget, overall size? And how would you keep it to that size?
First to Bob, 1 minute each.
Yeah, right size of government, you got to listen to the employees. Do they think that they're overworked? You got to listen to the residents. Are they getting their questions responded to? Look at the physical plant out in 75th Avenue. Are the trucks, getting repaired, or are they out there working? Right size of government is a balancing act. I'll be listening to many different factions. Thank you.
Gabriel?
Yeah, when you look at the right size of government, you do have to look to see what services the community wants, and then you have to look to see what your employees are able to do. And then, as Bob says, you do have to balance it. But as I've already indicated, I'm a proponent of a municipal bank. And if you had a municipal bank and we're able to leverage our dollars, we could certainly reduce the tax burden on the residents, which would limit the government in a way as well. So by using the banking principle known as fractional reserve lending, we could put certain tax monies in a bank. We leverage those dollars, and by doing that, we can reduce the tax burden. It's been used in North Dakota for more than 90 years. In colonial America, Benjamin Franklin did it. If it's good enough for Benjamin Franklin, and it's been good enough for North Dakota, it can be good enough for us.
Armando?
Well, when you mentioned, the government itself, or the employees, or the staff, or the administration, when is it too small, when is it too big? It's a balancing act, and it's a matter of, are you providing the services that the homeowners and the taxpayers are expecting? If you're not, then you're too small. If you're providing them adequately, and you don't have workers standing around, and you don't have streets with potholes, and you don't have people standing out in the front of the line to get their answers to the questions of the city business, then it might be too big if you have too many employees. But that's not for us to do, and that's not for us. We choose the administration. And if it's too big, it's our fault because we chose the wrong administrator, or the wrong head of department, or the wrong chief of police, or the wrong city attorney. We hire them, it's our fault. Ultimately, the buck stops here. But we don't know that until we see the numbers and we see the facts behind it.
Sure. All right. Well, I hear all of you saying it's a balancing act, judgment, use good judgment, respond to the constituents. But let me ask something maybe a little bit more pointed then. Is there anything that you can see right now that would be worth expanding city government? A project that's personal to you, that's a high priority to you, that you would say, yes, this is an area where we should expand city government with a commensurate increase in putting taxes to that?
Let's give 30 seconds each to the question from James Dundorf of the South Miami Homeowners Association. Again, starting with Bob.
Just one example.
Yeah. Tree planting as well as tree maintenance. There's no reason why the city can't contract out with somebody that has a bucket truck to go down the whole darn street and prune the trees nicely. Let the neighbors do all the chopping up on the ground, but let's take care of the trees. I'd expand the government to do that. Thank you.
Gabriel.
Like I said, a municipal bank. I would want to create a municipal bank, which would give us the framework to actually reduce taxes, promote job growth and development. We've been talking about development in downtown. We were talking about development in the CRA area. If you had a municipal bank, you can promote those things. A lot of our citizens are in foreclosure. You could assist with that as well. And so I think we could create an appropriate role that would both assist the citizens, but also protect the taxpayers, and it's a municipal bank.
Armando? I think we all lost sound here.
The only department that I would at this point consider expanding.
Armando, hang on 1 second. They lost audio.
Hello? Okay, mine's working.
Hello?
Yes.
Is it working? Mine's not working?
Yes, it is.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
No, it's okay. The only department that I would consider at this time to actually look in, not to expand, to look in would be the police department. Because as citizens and taxpayers, what is the priority? When you move into a community, what do you want? Protection, first of all. Police service. Then you look into the public service area, the streets, tree pruning, and all those things. If there's any particular department that I'd like to look into, originally, first would be the police department. Again, wants and needs.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to get another question from Hans Huseby from the Red Sunset Merchants Association. And this is going to go to Gabriel first.
Keeping in mind that approximately 50% of the city's revenue comes from the business community and we make up perhaps 10% of the area, there is a widespread feeling that the city government really doesn't do much, if anything, to help the merchants. Red Road, if you take a look at it south of Sunset Drive, on the county side, they did a nice beautification project over there. Sidewalks, beautiful trees, etc. And if you get down between 73rd Street, 74th Street, on the west side of Red Road, it's a pretty barren landscape. Has been for a long time. Also, talking about trees recently, you got dead palm trees on Sunset Drive. They've been dead a long time. My question, and actually I want to back up for a quick moment and point out that I'd like you guys to stop and think about who paid for your 4th of July fireworks celebration this year. First National Bank of South Miami and Larkin Hospital, if I'm not mistaken. So you got people that care about the community and don't just sit back and want to think that, you know, what can I get in terms of lining my pocket? My big question to you is, how do you see the role of city government in helping, quote unquote, the merchants?
A minute each. Start with Gabriel.
Well, first of all, our city government and our business community, we're partners. The business community to thrive needs a good government, and for the government to do well, we need a good business community. So we're partners. We need to have dialogue, and we need to have, when we can, agreement. We may not agree on everything, but we have to have agreement. I've said it, I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to keep saying it, a municipal bank. If you had a municipal bank, you said 53% of the taxes are paid by people in downtown. You had a municipal bank, you could potentially look at reducing that and reducing the burden on them, and they could, you know, be more community partners, and that might be something that we can look at as well.
Thank you. To Armando?
Yeah. My query with the whole situation is that many residents believe that the business growth in our area hurts the hometown ambience and hurts them. And I don't believe that's true. I believe that creating more business, developing more business in the downtown area, both on the west side and on the east side of US 1, would increment the tax base that the commercial and business would pay. If they pay 53 now, I'd like them to pay 60 or 70, which in turn would bring down the taxes for the homeowners and residents. And that's the purpose of having a community. Business should take the brunt of the taxes. But if you don't promote it, you don't develop it, again, in a controlled way where it does not affect the homeowner and the residential aspect of the community, it would be a beautiful thing. How do you get there? Again, Gabriel said it, a lot of communication, a lot of planning.
Thank you. Bob?
Hans, give me a break. We in South Miami in our downtown have something that other business areas don't have. Location, location, location. The business area downtown gets to draw on a lot of affluent customers from Coral Gables, from Pinecrest. You know, we're the closest business area to them, and you know, we've got it, and you guys enjoy it, and the customers come in to use it. You know, we're a small town. We'll try harder to, get the potholes fixed. But remember, we're a small town. You know, we're not like Dade County with dedicated pothole fixing trucks. You know. Thank you.
Hans, did you want to follow up? No?
Well, I somehow get the feeling that because of our location, things we just sit back and everything's fine. I mean, if everything was so fine, I've never seen more empty store spaces in downtown South Miami than I see now, including the building I'm in, which is one of the most reasonably rated buildings that I know of. And if it was so easy, why aren't more businesses staying alive down there? Okay?
And we'll reverse. We'll start with Bob and work our way back 30 seconds each.
Okay. Remember that it's the economy that messed you guys up much, much more than any lack of diligence from our services or lack of hearing from our commissioners. I was talking at a forum with the downtown merchants. I'm looking at a blank storefront, and I got the idea that we need art students to display their art in the vacant storefronts, so at least they look pleasing and they don't look like they're causing a dead zone. Thank you.
Armando, 30 more seconds on merchants.
Unfortunately, those art displays don't pay rent, which do not increase the tax revenue to the city. Again, to promote business, nightlife, restaurants, stores, is the primary importance that a commission has, because it protects. The commission's here to protect the residents and the community as a whole. How do you protect it? By keeping the taxes low and providing them with the services they require, they want, and they need without paying higher taxes.
Thank you.
By promoting business in a controlled manner, you can achieve that.
Thank you. Gabriel, 30 more seconds.
One of the roles I view of a commissioner is to promote our city. And if I was elected, I would certainly promote the city. I think we have a great story to tell. And because we live here, we think people know it, but a lot of people don't know it. And there are a lot of businesses out there who are good businesses that are looking for places to be, and they don't know about South Miami. And, I want to promote this city and tell our story, and maybe we can fill some of those things. And that's one of the roles that I see for myself as a commissioner.
Thank you. The next question is going to come from Pastor Rodney James of the Concerned Clergy of South Miami. And we'll start with Armando, then Bob, then Gabriel.
I learned last round when I asked this question that maybe I need to speak with a little more specificity as I ask this question, and reference again historically that the question I'm about to ask pertains to the African American community, which Mr. John Smith pointed out to all of us at the beginning of this forum, that you could make the argument that there probably would not be a South Miami without the historically African American community here, because we